the times when you were young and drew your family tree? I drew mine while being happy and painting hideous pictures of my family members. I never realized how very lucky I was then. My grandfather was a man who ranted even if he had 2 more inches of hair on his head. This gave the 5-year-old me a great opportunity to enhance my drum playing skills. There was also one more thing urging him to cut his hair was that 2-year-old me was weirdly obsessed with eating hair. There was also this overgrowth on his forehead as long as I remember him. And for a long time, I thought that pressing this overgrowth would open a magic portal for me. Also, for a long time, I thought this was a bite from a huge mosquito and it lasted for long. Because of this ridiculous thought, whenever I went out to play, I literally smeared mosquito repellent all over my body. Any conversation I had with this man, he proved me wrong in every one of them, either by giving the conversation a positive turn, which I did not even realize was going to a negative path, or by using his standard dialogue, Mutasha knows better. Although this man gave me everything he had and shared all he owned with me, I couldn't even share my room with him and my grandma for 2 weeks. What do they call this? Generation gap, I guess. This very reason made me hate myself, and I started remembering all the times I spent with him, my grandfather, or Mutasha as I call him in my mother tongue. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 2, in September of 2021. The treatment started immediately, and they stayed at a house for a couple of months. They went back to their house in Kerala after about 6 months because they had a month till the next treatment. The thing I noticed the most was that he stuck through all the pain, all the radiation, and all the chemotherapy, and all he showed was a smile. It was immense pain he was going through, yet he fought willingly for himself and for his family. This taught me that even in the toughest of situations, it is important never to give up and to keep fighting. A month later, he fell on the floor in the middle of the night while going to the washroom. My mom managed to reach within a day, and my sister, dad, and I within 2 days. His condition gave me the shock of my life. The hale and hearty man I used to see playing around with me was lying on a bed with frail skin, tubes fitted into his body, barely able to bring words out of his mouth. My mom and I stayed there for a month, trying our level best to bring him back. He wanted to walk and used a walker every day to come back to his practices. The day we left, I told him, "Grandpa, I'll come back in my next vacations, and I want you to be perfectly fine by then because I want to eat mangoes from your farm." I came back in 2 months for a reason that broke me. Even though my sister and I tried to reach as fast as we could, they cremated him while we were still traveling. As I arrived, I saw my grandma sitting on an empty bed in a white traditional sari, weeping. Even though I knew where they cremated him, I was scared somehow. There was a ritual that took place a few days later where the priests prayed to the soul. This somehow gave me courage to go visit him. As I arrived, I saw a lamp lit, a banana leaf at the place of cremation, and a coconut husk. The ashes had been kept in a safe place. I don't cry that easily, but seeing that place made me bawl my eyes out while yearning for him to come back out of the woods anytime, shouting my name to come play chess with him. While reminiscing about him, I went through my inbox and saw various emails from him when I first started my Reddit mail account. He always loved technology and wanted to learn all about it. Writing this talk has been one of the most difficult tasks up till now. I cannot even begin to remember the number of times I have broken down by looking at pictures, clothes, and emails from him. The time of his death, I was in school. Although the day was going very well, that short period of time, I just blanked out. I felt very warm and cold at the same time. I felt sick. I thought it to be common cold, which is way too common for me, and brushed it off. When I came to know the exact time of his death, I realized how truly connected I was to him. I thought my year was going to go downhill from there and nothing would ever go right in my life. But 3 months later, I went to an international competition, far away from home. I had little hope of winning, let alone bringing the championship trophy home. When our names were announced on stage, I could have thought of anyone, my parents, school, teammates, teachers, etc., etc. But the first name to pop in my mind was my grandfather's. He always urged me to participate in competitions and yearned for me to make a big name. I thought at that moment, wherever he was looking at me and saying, "This is my granddaughter. She is my young carbon copy, and I'm proud of that fact." It would take me some time to truly accept the fact of his death, and more breakdowns surely take place. I even had one yesterday. But I'm not saying I've fully gone through that phase and can preach about it. But try to be with your grandparents and parents whenever you can, because you never know what you might learn from them. Take it from me, you'll miss all that boasting about how their generation is the best and then random bursting into old songs and old movie dialogues. He'll never come back, but I'll always try to be like him. My inspiration, my hero, my grandfather, my Mutasha. Thank you.